you like snakes? I don't know what's going on. Maybe there is climate change. So much hair. I love fitting in my cove. Wow. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there is climate change. Can you believe this weather? I'm not too impressed with the wind today, but man, there's absolutely nothing I can say about how it is outside. Well, how it is currently. It looks like very soon our luck may change. But until then, it is time for weird and unusual stories from around the world, friends. Get ready, I got some doozies this day. I love fitting in my cove. This is Studio C. I've decided, Studio C. Hello everyone, hope you're having a marvelous day. Man, the end of another week, huh? It goes so fast. Doesn't seem like it on Monday, but by the time you get to the end of the week, Friday, it just seems like it went fast. Reminder, Studio C, quicksand below. I always forget that. I love this spot, but the ground is awful. Anyway, maybe it's fitting for our first story. Our first story comes to us from Poland. Yeah, I don't really get a lot of weird and unusual news out of Poland, you know? This is one of the first stories I've ever found, so I'm kind of proud of myself. This story has to do with a giant African snail and the woman that loves him. Check them out. That's Minsky. Minsky is the lovely pet of our girlfriend here who goes unnamed. I kept trying and trying, but there wasn't one website that offered up her name. Maybe they were afraid of backlash or stalking or trolling. But she says her number one favorite thing to do with Minsky is cuddle on the couch. And she could care less about all the negative comments she receives. So yeah, I guess they're keeping her name private because of the excessive amount of negative comments that come her way. You see, Minsky is a giant African snail that she saved from a shelter that was closing. She had always had a fascination with snails her whole life, and she actually had always wanted to own a giant African snail, but they're not really the kind of pet that's readily available, would be my guess, especially in Poland. I mean, here in America we get almost anything, but giant African snails, I don't see them on an everyday. So when she was helping close down this shelter, well, they were closing it down, guessing because of lack of funding, like everything else. We give money to dumb things and not to where it needs to go. But she found Minsky, her new friend, and he was probably half the size from the reports I read. She's been feeding him well and caring for him quite diligently. It appears that she loves to cuddle with him, even though, as you may know, snails leave a trail of slime behind. So as you see in the pictures, she really doesn't care. It's on her chest, on her arm, sliding across the couch, her favorite chair. Says it doesn't bother her. Doesn't make a difference. The slime is fine. It's just moisture and it goes away. I guess so. I mean, so is urine, but don't think you want to have that thrown on you? Maybe you do. Not my place to judge. But Minsky is her love, the love of her life. The pet she's wanted since she said she was 6 years old. Not quite sure you can obtain giant African snail as a pet, but would you? Is Minsky the kind of pet you would like? You're thinking giant African snail, maybe arm of slime or chest of slime. I don't know. She looks really good, so I guess it's good for your skin, keeps you young. She looks pretty young. I don't think she's that old, but I don't know. Would you not care? Would it not be an issue for you? Can you cuddle Minsky and love him, let him roam around your body and leave his loving trail of slime? Not for me. You do you. I can't do snail. I won't eat them either, so I always say I'll eat anything, but I guess there are limits, because snail, escargot, never been something I want to try. And I'm sure it would be horrifying to her, but you tell me, woman inseparable from giant African snail? See that happening to you anytime soon? Putting them together. Falling apart today, people. Anytime soon? Loving a giant snail? I'm sure many people let their dogs lick their face and their cats and all that. Awesome. Again, not for me, great for you. But let me know in those comments down below. Giant snail lover, would you like one? I'll hook you up with her address, man. Maybe she can get you one. But the stories get way more absurd. Get ready. This next one, photos are mind-boggling, so let's check it out. Our next story comes to us from India. The god calf was born. Maybe you heard about it. I hadn't. This was new for me. Actually, there was a cow born in India a week ago that had, of course, a cow body, but the facial features of a man, of a human. So they called it the god calf, and they actually proclaimed it to be a god. It mimics one of their deities, Vishnu, had the body of a calf and the head of a human. Well, the god calf was all calf with human features. See, there's a cow shelter. Of course, the Indians in India worship the cow and revere it as a sacred animal. So they have shelters for animals that are injured through malnutrition or bad weather or vehicle accidents. Well, they had a cow that was badly injured but pregnant, and shortly after reaching the shelter gave birth to what they're calling the god calf. As you can see in the pictures, it really is an unusual mutation of an animal, let's say. I don't judge anybody. If it's your God, it's your God. I'm not in any position to say you're wrong, so you do you. You know that's one of our favorite sayings. The god calf had all the features a human face would have on its face. Had a human nose, not a cow nose, as you saw. Had ears, had human-shaped eye openings and eyeballs. Didn't quite have a mouth. I think they ran short on that. It did have the regular snout-like cow mouth, but it is quite incredible, isn't it? I mean, how often do you see an animal or mutation of this nature? It absolutely blew my mind. As you can see, it was a very unusual mutation. Thousands of people from all over India came to see it. I mean, wouldn't you? Let's face it, something is considered sacred to you, and there is something so incredible like this born. It would be worth taking a trip to witness with your own eyes. Unfortunately, the animal passed away, I think they said within hours of birth, but lived long enough for thousands of people to come out and see it. I mean, I guess word spread like wildfire. It was a very small village in India, and they were taken back immediately. They are very, loyal worshipers of the animal. That's why they had the shelter there. It's supposedly one of the very largest and popular shelters for bringing injured cows. So they see lots of births. So this is nothing new to them. But one with a human face, first time ever. Then they, as you can see, enshrined the body of the animal in glass for about a day or two, and currently it has been cremated, I guess because of decay. But they're now collecting money to build a temple on that site so they could house the ashes of the cow. And of course they have video and pictures. They would like people that would like to come visit and worship it to have a place to do that. So I ask you, my friends, if you are of the Hindi religion and the cow is a sacred animal to you, then you may want to look deeper into this story. Perhaps you may want to make a donation to their cause. If not, you tell me what's your theory. Me and Rini were talking about it. I won't go into how we think it happened, but we're thinking it's not really of a deity type affair. It wasn't God stepping in. We believe it was more man stepping in where he shouldn't. And it's super rare that these type of things can happen, but they do happen. So leaning more towards human transfer on a very uncommon, weird level with an animal. Don't know, but can tell you things do happen sometimes. But more importantly, what do you think? Is it a God? Is it a sign from God? Is it just a mutation that, you know, our brain will always pick something we know and identify it as that? Is that what we're looking at here? Or do we have some unusual love going on, that, you know, taboo thing? Let me know. I'm really curious. I know what we think. I just want to know what you think. I have one more story. I think you guys are going to really love it. It's quite fascinating. So let's get to it. All right. I have one more story for you guys. Do you like snakes? Do they weird you out? Are they not your favorite animal on the planet? Personally, I'm a big snake lover. Had them as pets as a teenager. Caught them for my son. See them here in Florida all the time. All different kinds, all over the place. I look around for them before I come out and shoot video. Right by the swamp. There's some bad boys out there in the snake world you wouldn't want to run into. And imagine, on a train, would you want snakes on a train?
I've had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
Because that's what happened. I couldn't resist. It was just too good, too easy. That's right. Recently, Dateline, China, 25 very poisonous cobras hatched and were running through a commuter train. A very crowded commuter train. They actually hatched in the baggage compartment where there were 500 eggs stored by one of the fine passengers on the train. See, unfortunately, his bag was too big to carry on, and the rules state then it has to go in the luggage car. Well, they've been suffering some very unusual, extremely hot weather there in China. I think like most of the world, all of Europe, now I guess Asia. Here in the US, it's always that way in the summer. Well, since they had this extremely high heat, a man carrying 500 cobra eggs. That's right, not just any eggs, cobra eggs. It's like, dude, what kind of snakes? The heck? Well, I guess I can't down them. They were actually going to be used to make a very rare medication, a holistic medication that they revere in China. So he was transporting them back home. I'm guessing he must have picked them up in India, because India has cobra farms for consumption of meat, for eggs, for medicine, for pets. I don't know. I guess for entertainment type deals, but it was so extremely hot in the baggage car that actually 25, or I think they said at the end 27 of the eggs hatched, and they hatch live, fairly large, and very hungry, and very super poisonous. Probably more poisonous than they are when they're full grown, because they're small and concentrated. You know, like the soap pods, just more concentrated, more deadly, right? So from the pictures I was able to obtain, you can see many of them were 8 to 10 inches in length, some smaller. But, I mean, really? 25 cobras running around on a crowded commuter train? Doesn't make you nervous? Don't think it's something that would worry you? I love snakes. Wouldn't scare me. Make me nervous. Cobras, I mean, I'm not talking garden snakes here, but most people are freaked out snake, period. Cobra snake, I am surprised there are not more stories of people jumping off a moving train. So I thought that would be the story. When I started reading it and I saw snakes on a train, I said, oh, there had to be some people jumping off. A crowded commuter train? Luckily, everybody kept their cool head. Snake Man, I guess with the police, isolated them in the one car and were able to gather them up and safely remove them. So, big thumbs up, China police. Not worried about your own life, going right in there and taking snakes off a train. I can't stop myself. You know I love bad puns. But how do you feel about it? I know I have a lot of followers in China. Did you hear about this one? Would it make you uncomfortable? Do you consume cobra venom medicinal oils? Let me know. I have no idea what it's used for. I'd love to know. I kind of fancy learning these things, but man, snakes on a train, cow with a human face. Where is this all going? I had no idea. Woman loving snail, sliming her. God, we've become so liberal, people. But you tell me, which story did you like the most? You a snail person? A snake person? Well, where does it stop for you? Cow lover? Which one interests you the most? I think the cow blew my mind. I can't stop thinking about it. Snakes on a train pun is great, but cow with human face I think trumps everything. And I want you to know, snail story was number one until cow came, so. But you tell me, snail, cow, snake, where you at? Love to know. Well, I guess I was wrong. I don't think it's gonna rain for at least another hour. So lucky. As a matter of fact, I think I'm getting a little thick because rain keeps you from exercising, so I'm gonna go for my walk. That's it. Going for the walk. But y'all know how we do it. Comment, like, subscribe. Have a great weekend. It's Friday. Love you. See everyone back here bright and early on Monday. Snakes on a train. I can't help it. That was the best.
With these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday play.